a lot of people, when this first happened with the pool, didn't believe the president that there was vandalism. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Andy, tell me some good news, brother.
Good
Need some
news.
good news in my life.
I have funny news tonight. Nothing good. I just went and saw the Odyssey. Like I got back like a half an hour ago. I can report the Odyssey's a pretty good movie. Very long. There were a couple times where I felt like they could have condensed some parts that were drawn out a little bit longer than they had to be, but it was like a 3 hour movie.
So
But
you watched
overall,
Elon Musk's Odyssey?
dude, okay. All that I knew about this movie going into it was there was complaints from Elon and people on the right about the actor Elliot Page. I get so uncomfortable talking about this subject. So I don't want to piss anybody off. But Elliot Page used to be Ellen Page, transitioned, and I kept hearing
I
that.
remember I had a crush on her after that one Juno movie. I was
She-
like, oh, that was kind of cute.
Yeah, I said she there, and I again, I'm not trying to upset anybody here, but that actor, that person was in the Umbrella Academy that was on Prime. It was a pretty good little show I was watching. Anyhow,
Right.
I knew that person was in it, and Elon was very upset about that. And then Helen of Troy is African American, and he was also very upset about that. So I'll just say this: Elliot Page was in the movie for like the very first 30 seconds of the movie. Elliot Page was in, and then about halfway through the movie, Elliot Page was in it for about 2 to 2.5 minutes. That was it. Like it not to say not even like a main character is beyond like very like minor, like you wouldn't even notice. And
So
then
wait, hold on. Elon is mad about it. That's why he made this other movie.
hold on, I don't know what you're talking about. What did
Wait.
Elon do?
Elon Musk. He made a whole nother. He made a whole nother. Apparently, it's historically accurate.
Did he do this like in AI like over the weekend
Yes.
or what? Okay.
Yeah.
I
Or
didn't
he
even see
is.
that.
I don't know if he's done it yet, but he is going to make it.
I think I saw where he said he was going to, but he's never gonna like. But
Okay.
anyhow, that
But this
that
is why he's mad is because there's a trans person and an African American in the movie.
a trans person that was in the army that like went like the whole the Trojan horse and the Battle of Troy, whatever. Like there was a trans person in that army that stormed, whatever.
Okay.
Again, like such a minor role that like shouldn't be discussed. And then Helen of Troy was black. I'll bet Helen of Troy wasn't like black, but she also wasn't white. Like I don't know what color everybody was in that part of the world back then, but like to think that they were like white with blonde hair and blue eyes, they weren't. So
That was Greece, right?
yeah, I think it was Greece.
Okay.
So not exactly white. Little
So Elon's just a racist, bigoted asshole.
I think we knew that
already knew
already.
that.
Yeah. So, and like I knew ahead of time because Elon was upset, and like Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire has been upset about it, and it's just one of those where it's like, okay, these people are upset, I'm going to watch it. Again, such a minor role that we shouldn't even be talking about it. So,
Okay.
anyhow, good movie. I recommend you go see it. Real quick, this was not on my list as the week ended last week, but we have to talk about this right off the bat. Have you seen what's happening with the reflecting pool saga? All the damage that was caused by vandals to the reflecting pool.
Wait, I thought Homeboy got cleared.
Okay, so you're up to speed on this.
Did we not talk about this last time?
We haven't talked about this.
Oh, okay. I felt like I talked about this with you.
Nope.
Okay.
So there were 3 people charged with felonies for vandalizing the reflecting pool. We all keep talking about the guy that was the former Olympian canoeist or something.
Yeah.
But there's 2 others that have been charged with felonies, but the Olympian's getting all the attention.
Right.
So I'll just start with this.
Justice Department admits reflecting pool renovation was flawed. Drops case against former Olympian.
So if you remember back, they were saying Trump said that somebody with a box cutter or a really sharp knife it went from 200 feet long slit to 250 to 300, and then it became 300 yards at one point, which is 900 feet. All the reporters were asking over and over, like, are you sure this wasn't a bad installation job? And they were very clear that no, this was vandals that cut it with box cutters and knives. From the story, real quick, this is fascinating. In an unusually descriptive filing about shoddy work on the reflecting pool this summer, Jeanine Pirro's office pointed fingers directly at other federal agencies, including Interior Department, for the bungled renovation and Hearn's vandalism case. This is a quote from her. The damage was the result of botched installation and not vandalism, as initially represented by the DOI, Department of Interior, Piero's office wrote in Hearn's case. Another quote. A recent visual inspection showed damage throughout the reflecting pool, even in the middle of the pool, where a vandal would not likely attempt to peel the lining, prosecutors added. Given all of this newly discovered information, it is difficult to attribute the widespread damage to the reflecting pool to vandalism, let alone establish that fact beyond a reasonable doubt. Donald Trump specifically said they put a slit right down the middle of the reflecting pool, and everybody asked him, they said, hey, somebody would have to get in the water and go out to the middle of it and go underwater to do that. That would be noticed. And he kept saying, well, they did it. Now, clearly that is not the case. We all knew it was a botched install job. Like that, a couple different things people pointed to, like there's a curing process where you have to let it dry for a certain amount of days between layers that you put on, which they rushed through because Trump had to have it done by his birthday for the UFC fights. Also, he drove his motorcade on it at one point while it was curing. That could have something to do with it. Also, it's bed lining. It's Rhino Liner 6000 that they put on the bottom of the reflecting pool. That's not meant for swimming pools. That's meant for the back of trucks. Yeah. This was so obvious. I got to say, I love this story because most of the Trump lies, and let's get it out of the way, like both sides tell lies. I get it. But like Trump tells really glaringly obvious lies, and he does it like proudly. And most
the whole administration,
the whole administration. But most of the time, like we all know it's a lie, but like there's never a moment where we prove that it's like somebody that's a Trump fan can argue forever. Well, what about blah blah blah? And like what I love about this is they had to write it in a court filing that it was not vandalism and it was a botched install job. Like we have a fact, we have something we can point at now. That makes me really happy.
It doesn't make any difference. Like I'll tell my dad stuff that are like actual proven facts, and he's like, "Well, I don't know about that." And I'm like, "I'm telling you right now."
Well, like the only other time this has happened with Trump is I think right after the 2020 election when he was saying it was a stolen election, it was rigged, blah blah blah. I said erection there. But he was saying all this stuff, but then Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell were going into court, and judges were asking them point blank, do you have any evidence for this? And they were saying, no, we have no evidence. And that is like the only other kind of time where we had this happen. Real quick, just because this was fun for me, I have a montage of all the times that they swore up and down that it wasn't a bad install job. It was definitely vandalism.
The vandalism is very real, despite what Tim Walz wants to say. It's an imaginary problem. No, it is not. It's a very real problem.
Reflecting pool is so beautiful. They tried to destroy it. They cut it up with a buck's knife and tried to destroy it.
A lot of people, when this first happened with the pool, didn't believe the president that there was vandalism. That's not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case at all. In fact, I was at the reflecting pool yesterday. There not only is a vandalism that is reflected in today's indictment, but there is a cutting of the liner of the pool at the base of the pool for several yards across the pool. And someone was intent on doing incredible damage to the pool.
The contractors who did the initial work for the reflecting pool, are they to blame for the current condition, or is it the vandals?
We had vandalism. No, vandals.
But it peeled off. Why? Why did that happen? Do you know?
It didn't peel off. There was vandalism. There was box cutters. There have been 7 arrests. There was people literally trying to destroy part of a monument. The reflecting pool is not just a pool on the mall. It is part of the Lincoln Memorial. And if anybody says that they're going to go and vandalize that, it's no different than if someone was throwing paint.
And you're
on Lincoln
100%
itself.
sure that what happened with the liner was vandalism. You can prove it.
Oh yeah, absolutely can. And as we drain it, and we've got all the photographs we can see. I mean, there's no possible way.
Your photographs of a person or people cutting a 300 or 350 foot gash in the bottom of the reflecting pool?
Dana, I'm not sure why you and others in the media think that you want to keep trying to question whether or not they.
Why do you media keep trying to question this? So
I mean,
that last guy. So I'm gonna let you go ahead, and I'm gonna go on a rant here.
These people, man, it's just lie after lie after lie, and they keep getting caught in these stupid lies, and they just keep lying. Like they don't learn their lesson, and it's because their base doesn't pay attention. They don't pay attention. If
Well, Fox News Fox News only reported that they were dropping the case. They said they're dropping the case against the Olympian. Hearn is his name. They didn't say why, and they didn't say it was a botched install job, and they only reported it on their website in the sports section of their website. I don't know how it was, because he's a former Olympian, I guess. But like that, so like if you only
That's
watch
so stupid.
if you only watch Fox News, you have no idea that this case got dropped and they admitted it was caused by a botched install job. Now, what makes this kind of juicy for me is Jeanine Pirro's office. I don't want to say it was her, but her office was prosecuting this, and they said that the facts were not as it was initially described by the Department of Interior. So she was pointing the finger at the Department of Interior. They said in a couple different places, like 19 pages total, but in a couple different places, they said, well, as it was described to them by the Department of Interior, all these things happened, but it turns out the Department of Interior wasn't being forthcoming with the info they had, basically. They're basically called the Department of Interior liars. So it looked at first.
When we look at the Department of Interior, that is the Parks Department.
Yeah.
Correct?
They do a lot of stuff, but yeah, Parks.
Yes. And well, the Parks is who's maintaining this, who's watching over this program. Now, what's the guy's name, the canoeist?
Hearn is his last name. I don't know his first name.
Let's just say Hearn is the culprit and he cut open the boxes. There would be a report that he was like soaking wet from being inside of the fucking pool.
He took a picture of what he was doing. There was a part of the liner that was flapping up and like kind of sticking out of the water, and it was right by the edge, and he leaned over and held onto it and took a picture. And at no point did we see him pull on it, but he was holding it and taking a picture. And they thought that picture alone would be enough to be like, oh, he was pulling on it. But it turned out there was a video of somebody like 15 feet behind him was videoing the whole thing. And you can see that he was not pulling on it at all. He had his hand on it for the picture. The case fell apart instantly. Now, in that video I just played for you, the last guy was Doug Bergrum. He's the Secretary of the Department of Interior. And it looked on, I think it was Friday that all this went down. They put this court filing in Friday at like 4:55 p.m. This is a classic Friday afternoon news dump. You hope that you dump it on Friday afternoon, and by Monday other things have happened and it's not that big a deal. So they clearly try to do it that way. It was setting up like, oh, Doug Bergrum is going to take the fall. Nobody gives a crap about Doug Bergrum. Like, if they pin it on him and he has to leave, nobody in MAGA is going to be upset about that.
Yeah.
So it seemed kind of obvious that he was the fall guy. Well, since then, over the weekend, Trump has had something to say about this. I'm going to read this. You can open if you want it. Trump pool tweet. Trump said, I disagree 100% with Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, on the reflecting pool. I don't know what she was thinking. To me, it was a pure case of vandalism. That included the grass, which had a big 8647 emblazed in giant letters on it, and other elements of the surrounding area. There may have been some contractor difficulty, but the major damage was caused by vandals in all caps. So he's not going after Doug Bergrum as I expected. He's going after Jeanine Pirro, which I'm not going to lie. If I could have one of them like take the fall for this and potentially have to leave their post, I'd rather Jeanine Pirro have to go. I don't give a crap about Doug Bergrum. Nobody does. He's almost so like you can't hate him because he doesn't do anything. Like you can't like him and you can't hate him. He's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
Anyhow,
I don't like Jeanine at all. So
you don't like what?
Jeanine.
Yeah, no, Jeanine can go. But Doug Bergrum piled on about 2 hours later. He said, the evidence is clear. Vandals have repeatedly caused damage to the reflecting pool. Some of these acts were even caught on camera. We also provided the U.S. Attorney's Office expert and eyewitness testimony that the damage was done by vandals and provided every piece of evidence they asked for in the requested timeline detailing each area of the damage of the pool. Anyhow...
Just more bullshit. Just complete and utter bullshit. Here's what the Trump administration does: is they see something and they point fingers. They what is it? Shoot first and ask later.
Yeah.
Ask questions later. That's every single time. And then they get themselves into these kind of pickles, and they just have to like completely ignore the facts and try and lie their way out of it.
Well, and in the court filing, they said that the Department of Interior claimed they had all this evidence proving it, and it turned out they didn't. That's the bottom line of basically what they said. And now the Department of Interior is saying, no, we do have all the evidence, and we gave it all to Jeanine Pirro's office. Somebody's lying here. I think it's funny that they're going after Puro. Like I said, I thought for sure it would have been Doug Bergrum. Either way, like this is the classic Donald Trump lie. Like lie. He's obviously lying. And then boom, we have proof that he's lying, but he comes out and doubles down on it and says, "No, I totally disagree. It was clearly vandalism." And you're right. The people that only watch right-wing media are going to have no clue what the court filing said, and they're just it'll be funny if they all turn on Jeanine. They like Jeanine. Like she was a Trump defender on Fox. Like if they all turn on her all of a sudden, that's going to be hysterical. Also, Iran is going on, so this will be a non-story in another couple days. It probably already is, but to me, it's hysterical.
Who's going to replace Jeanine?
Somebody worse. I mean, actually, I don't know that it can get worse than Judge Box of Wine, but it's not going to be anybody good. And that's what, real quick, Todd Blanche, his hearing to be the possible attorney general is, I don't know if it's going to happen or not right now. There's a couple of Republicans that all they want him to do is in writing say there will be no, what was it, the weaponization of government fund or whatever. It was going to be all the January 6ers getting payouts because the government went after them.
You know what bothers me even more than that is the fact that Trump and his kids are going to be immune from any tax. That's the biggest one.
So he has said in Senate hearings and in hearings in the House, he has said that that's off. We're not doing that anymore. And all they're asking for is for that in writing. And for whatever reason, he won't do it, which means they're going to do it. Like that. That's all he has to do is just do that. And it's funny because Trump at one point said, well, I'll just pull his nomination. If you don't want to vote for it, I'll pull it now and put him back up after the midterms, which, oh my God, I would love that because there's a chance, like, if anything, the Republican lead is going to be even smaller in the Senate at that point, and maybe possibly the Democrats might have the Senate. I still don't know about that. But, like, heck yeah. The problem is, I didn't know this till the other day. Apparently, in every other cabinet position, there's a time limit. You can only have an acting head of that department for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. The only place where there's not a time limit is Attorney General. He could have Todd Blanche be the acting Attorney General for the next 3 years, and he never has to get confirmed. Now, he can't ever say that he was the Attorney General, and his picture won't be on the halls of the Department of Justice, and it's a bragging thing. He wants to be able to say he was the nominated. He got confirmed as Attorney General. That's all the difference is he wants to be able to say he was really the Attorney General. It seems like at this point they're probably never going to take a vote on him, and he's just going to be the acting for the rest of Trump's term.
What if he gets turned down? Can he still be acting?
I don't know the answer to that, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Maybe that's the reason not to put him up, because maybe if he gets denied confirmation, he would have to leave his post. But if you never put him up, then he can stay there forever. I don't know. Can
Congress go in and like pull somebody, impeach him?
I think they can impeach him, but that's one of those where you're never gonna have enough votes to do that. So the idea of like Trump has done so many things in the past year and a half, just in the last 6 weeks, that are like impeachment worthy. Even remember we talked a couple of weeks ago about the where you can pay extra money to get advance notice on his Truth Social posts because they move markets, and Wall Street would like to know. That actually went into effect on Friday. Like that is now happening. Like that is.
Oh, it actually got passed.
What do you mean passed? Nobody had a vote on it. Companies are now paying Truth Social to get it, like, and they get like a 20-minute jump on any tweet. So like if Trump's going to tweet, hey, we just decided to bomb Iran again, Wall Street finds out 20 minutes before everybody else. Like that's so corrupt, but
that's insider trading and a half. Like openly
that's him taking money to give insider information.
It's corruption for insider trading.
Like,
oh my God.
Anyhow, yeah.
What a joke we are.
Speaking of Iran, and I want to spend less than 3 minutes on Iran tonight, but on Friday, it looked like we were poised. As soon as the markets were going to close, it looked like we were going to just hit them hard. Trump called and talked to Trey Yingst from Fox News. Trey Yingst went on to relay the message from Trump of what was going on. This is just funny to me. You have to check it out.
President Trump speaking to Fox just moments ago about the U.S.-Iran conflict. Trey Yingst has the information. Trey, what did the president tell you?
Yeah, guys, good morning. President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces overnight in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, we are going to beat the effing S out of them. He went on to say, we'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating. So clearly the United States is going to respond to what the president described as a surprise attack. He says U.S. forces had just minutes to shoot down these incoming Iranian ballistic missiles.
So, we're going to beat the effing S out of them, is what he said Friday. You'll be shocked to find out that we did not, in fact, even do that. And he claims there's a deal pending again. But we'll get to that in a second. What was funny about that is he said Trump made it a point to say it was a surprise attack, like it was dishonorable, like they didn't even give us fair warning. Every time we've launched strikes against them, it's a surprise attack. Like, we've never told them in advance we're about to bomb you. Like, we don't do that.
This is how war goes. There's no surprise attacks during war.
And so far, throughout this entire conflict, going back 6 months, they have only struck us in retaliation. It's like an eye for an eye thing. Like, we strike them, and then they strike back. And that's how it's gone for 6 months. And this was the first time we're kind of out of the blue. They struck us first, and Trump was saying it. Carolyn Levitt said it from the podium. Like, everybody was like, and the sneak attack they tried to do. And it's like, I don't know why we're getting upset that they surprise attacked us, because that's all we keep doing. That's hysterical to me that we're taking offense to that.
Iran seems to be messing with us pretty hardcore. Do you think because right around that same time, I believe that video came out of the Melania video where they were talking about, they had like video cameras of where Melania goes, who she's with. Did you not see that?
I didn't see any of this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's crazy. And then
where did you see this?
Online.
On social, like on Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, it's out there, man. It's out there. And I watched clips of the video, the actual video that Iran released, and they have Melania, like her timeline of where she goes throughout the day. And then at the very end it says, "Watch out, Baron, you're next."
So I didn't see any of that, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I need to verify this real quick. Because
this is the mainstream media not covering shit, right?
I feel like. Well, I'll say this. I did Iran Melania on Twitter, and it says there are no results. Period. Like there are. So that seems like a cover up right there. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that independently, and we'll talk about that next time because I know nothing about that. Are you Googling?
I'm doing threat. Yeah, Iran Melania threat.
Hold on.
An Iran linked online video targeting First Lady Melania Trump emerged in late July 2026, featuring hypothetical assassination sounds weird methods and expanding threats to her son Barron Trump amid elevated geopolitical tensions.
So I Googled it and I'm seeing some stuff on it. So yeah, that's raising the stakes a little bit, but also let's not forget we blew up the leader of their country and his entire family. So for us to be like, how dare they threaten the president's family? Well, I mean, we already killed their first family, so yeah. I mean, again, that's another one of those like, how dare we get upset about that? So,
and have you seen Iran has hacked into 7 of our water system?
We're getting there in a second. Give me a second on that one because Trump had a great response to that. But at first he said we're going to beat the effing S out of them, and then we never did on Friday. And there was really no reason why we didn't. Like everybody thought as soon as the markets closed, the launches start, and it didn't happen. And then Saturday it came out that apparently, and this was never confirmed, but America and Israel, because Bibi was in town last week, and they were talking about doing a complete blockade of Iran because we've decided that bombing them isn't going to do what we need to do. So right now we're just blockading the waterways, but they're talking about now doing a land blockade all the way over. So you'd have to get every country that touches Iran on board with this.
That's troops up on the ground.
Yeah, well, they're not in Iran though. They're just outside of Iran on the border. Let's look at a map real quick. But let's start bottom right. Pakistan's cool with us and Iran, but I think Pakistan they wouldn't want to upset us, so they'd be down. Afghanistan, there's not really much of a government there, so that'd be our troops in Afghanistan. Turkmenistan is more like Soviet Union-ish, so I don't know that that's gonna work. Azerbaijan, Armenia, I think we could pull it off there. Turkey is really upset with Israel, and Israel's upset with them, so I don't know how that's going to work. And then Iraq. Right now, like, we have forces in Iraq that are on Iran's side that keep bombing our bases, and that's become, like, the new problem. Is, like, we now have Iran, the Houthis down low, and then these independent forces in Iraq that are against us. So I don't know how A land blockade would involve fighting in northern Iraq at the very least, like boots on the ground fighting forces. So
Those are huge borders too.
yeah, oh yeah, a land blockade of Iran would be a huge like. I don't see any way in heck this is going to happen. I'm just telling you, it's being discussed right, or sources are saying that it's being discussed between the U.S. and Israel right now. So that was going on over the weekend.
And I would consider that boots on the ground. And if we have some, we have a few enemies on those borders, it would seem as though we would be attacked from both sides.
Iraq is the place where it most likely would go south for us.
Well, in Afghanistan, right? Like we were in Afghanistan for so long. And
yeah, we left Afghanistan and the Taliban took back over.
The Taliban is there, and they don't like us, I'm guessing.
But it'd be fun to watch Republicans if we tried to do that. If we had boots on the ground in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and they were like, no, it's not boots on the ground because they're not in Iran yet. They would try to parse that. Anyhow, we've moved on from that, though, because tonight Donald Trump said that Iran has agreed to the perimeters of a deal. He meant to say parameters. He screwed up the word, and now I guarantee you he's going to say perimeters going forward and act like he meant to say it. But either way...
Did he do this via Truth Social?
Yeah, no, he said it on Air Force One. On his way back from, you're never going to believe this, but like for the 43rd time, Donald Trump has won the championship at his golf club this weekend.
While he was where?
He was golfing, and I think it was in Bedminster. But he shot a 70, which is so unbelievable of a score. It's like one of those where he almost overlied. Like, he didn't shoot a 70. Anyhow.
This is what Kim Jong-un and Il do, right? Like, yeah, I got a hole in one on every hole.
I don't know if this really happened, but they said that Kim Jong-un played 18 and scored 18. He got a hole in one on every hole, is what they told the people of North Korea. Anyhow, I don't know if that's true or not. But so tonight he said that Iran has basically said they've agreed to the framework of a deal. We've heard this, I don't know how many times. Within an hour, Iran hit a ship in the Strait of Hormuz that was trying to go out the U.S. southern corridor, and it's on fire right now. They, of course, came out and said, no, they haven't agreed to anything. But on top of that, they hit a ship. It doesn't seem like we're close to having a deal. But again, and I don't know a lot about this, but like the 5-year and 10-year treasury yields last week started going up again, and that's bad for the dollar and a lot of things. And it seems like right now he's just not striking to let things cool off a little bit, let the market... Because the market lost like 2% on Thursday last week. It rebounded a little bit on Friday, but the treasury yields were going high. So it seems like he's just... If there's one thing we can honestly give Trump like really good credit for, like he deserves credit for this. Like he's managed to do this war while at the same time like keeping the stock market high and keeping gas prices from getting ridiculous. And it seems like gas prices still could get ridiculous at any point. But like that's an achievement right there. He's manipulated the market and the gas prices and managed to it's the weekend war. Like we strike them Friday afternoon through Sunday night, and then he claims deal, and everything's calm Monday through Friday at 4, and then we strike him again, and like that's never been done before. Like he gets credit for that in my book. I know you don't like to give him credit. It's a terrible thing he's doing, but he's doing it successfully.
Okay, as long as you say it's a terrible thing he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably made a deal with stockbrokers and big businesses. Hey, we're gonna cut regulations and let you make more money if you just like keep your money in the stock market.
Well, it's not that could be happening, but what's happening, we talked about last time, is Scott Bessent is allowing the Treasury to borrow money from banks at 5.4% interest and then buy Treasury bonds with that. That's like laughable that he's allowed to do that, but whatever. Anyhow, the water thing you were talking about, it came out on Friday that at first it was just Minnesota. It was 7 different like water facilities in Minnesota that had a cyber attack. And then it turned out on Saturday that it was multiple states that happened in. I don't know how many yet, but it's not just Minnesota. What's weird is
7 was the last number I saw.
So Donald Trump instinctively, for some reason, because it's Iran versus Tim Walz in Minnesota. And like he hates Tim Walz more than he hates Iran, I guess. So he instinctively kind of took Iran's side. Check it out.
Yeah, I just want to mention that we heard in Minnesota there was a cyber attack, and they blame it on Iran. I don't think so. I blame it on Minnesota because they're grossly incompetent. There was a cyber attack of 30 water plants, And I would blame it on Minnesota and the governor, the corrupt governor of Minnesota. They like to say, oh, it was Iran. Iran should be so lucky. Iran's got bigger problems than worrying about Minnesota.
So interesting that he takes that approach to it, I guess, instead of defending American citizens that are having their water cyber attacked, whatever.
Our fucking intelligence is telling him that Iran did it.
Yeah, well, who are you gonna believe, our intelligence or Trump? Because I believe Trump. Anyhow, kind of ridiculous. Now, I will say, because I mentioned this a couple different times, for like decades, we've been hearing about like terrorist sleeper cells in America, Iranian sleeper cells in America. I've yet to see any. There was the one guy in Austin. I don't even think you can call one guy a cell. That was one guy. But other than that, like, I guess that's something to be happy about. It turns out there were not all these Hamas and Hezbollah and Iranian terrorist cells in America, I guess. Or if there are, they haven't done anything yet, which I would have thought they would have done something by now. So,
yeah.
So, anyhow, that's all we're gonna spend.
I don't know. I mean, they seem to have a good strategy. That's the thing. Is the Iranians have on paper, it looks like the Iranians have a way better strategy for this war than the United States.
What is their strategy to you?
At this point, they are like at first they were hit. I mean, there's just different tactics that they're using. And I think their strategy changes, right? At first, it was like, you attack us, we'll attack you back. Oh, we're just going to close down the Strait of Hormuz. Perfect. Yeah. That's a great strategy for them, right?
Yeah.
The United States, everything they seem to keep trying to do fails. Like, oh, we're going to put up this blockade. Oh, we're going to try and fly our jet in there and grab the plutonium and radium. Like, nothing seems to be working for us. And I'm going to put it on Pete Hegseth. Like, he's just a fucking moron.
Okay. Well, and to me, like, yeah, they've changed tactics here and there throughout, but like overall, their overall approach has been, okay, we can take the pain longer than you can. Like, that seems to be from the start. They've been like, all right, we're going to make this painful for not just Iran and America, but for the entire world. And in their mind, they're saying, I'll bet you cry uncle first. And they can do that because the Iranian regime is not a good regime and they don't care about their people. If their people are suffering, if they don't
our government doesn't give a shit about us either.
They do, just in the way of getting reelected. That's the only reason, because like if we turn on them, they won't win the midterms.
Does it seem like that right now? Because oil is at an all-time high.
It's not an all-time high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all-time high.
Yeah.
Everything's up.
Oil's
up. Groceries are up. Everything's up. People are getting laid off. Like,
oh yeah.
Does it look like Trump cares about us? He puts the tariffs on, and he knows exactly what the tariffs are doing to us.
So I'm going to say he cares most about remaining in power, but later I'm going to try to explain to you why I think Trump doesn't. I don't even think he's trying to win anymore. So I'm kind of on your side with this, but overall, yeah, I don't think they care about us individually. They care about getting 50% of the vote to remain in power. That's all they care about. And if things get so bad, they're definitely not going to remain in power. So that's the only reason they keep backing off with Iran, with all kinds of stuff they're doing. They back off, like even ICE. Like they were doing the surge in Chicago, the surge in Minnesota. Public outcry got so bad where like 70% of the nation was not down with this. And now they're not doing surges anywhere anymore. So they only back off when it seems like it's going to affect their ability to hold on to power. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, did you see any of Lindsey Graham's funeral? Because I do have to play a clip of this for you.
I saw some of it.
Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah. I forgot about that. I totally forgot.
I'm only going to play one clip from it. And this is a Sean Hannity clip from the funeral, but it wasn't just him. A lot of them found a way while eulogizing Lindsey Graham to also kiss Trump's ass, which was kind of hysterical. Trump was in the front row. Here's Sean Hannity real quick.
Lindsey, Mr. President, I would argue in my mind probably has a heavenly version of Mar-a-Lago. It may even be a little bigger. He may have a little more gold in the Oval Office in his mansion in heaven. And I wouldn't be surprised if he added one big, beautiful ballroom and an arch somewhere on the property, because he would want to obviously duplicate his dearest friend in life, you, Mr. President. Lindsey, my friend.
what kind of weird ass cult is this? Like it's Lindsey Graham's funeral. We don't have to make it all about Trump. We know Trump's going to make it about Trump. Like when Trump speaks, and he did, there were some funny moments where like Trump was like, everybody on the left and right liked Lindsey. Then he like stopped and he goes, well, not everybody. I mean, it sounds good to say, but no, there were people that didn't like him. And it's like, why did you have to say that? Like you didn't have to say that, but he did anyhow.
Well, don't lie. I mean, don't start off with a lie and then, I mean, at least he didn't lie on that one.
He didn't know, and I'll bet Lindsey Graham would not want to be at Mar-a-Lago for eternity. I do think there was an element of Lindsey Graham. He wasn't for Trump at all at first. He was very against Trump, and then when he realized Trump was going to be president, Lindsey Graham found a way to manipulate Trump into doing what Lindsey Graham wanted him to do, and it was through kissing his ass. You know, he realized stroke his ego, and like I'm willing to bet that Lindsey Graham probably did not. He probably despised Donald Trump deep down, but he knew to get Donald Trump to do the things that Lindsey Graham cared about. Here's how he needs to approach it, and he did a masterful job at it. Like I think Lindsey Graham was a skilled tactician when it comes to dealing with Trump, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'll give him that. And also, it was weird to see because like we make fun of Lindsey Graham all the time, but like it seems like he was an asshole when he was in Senate hearings and all that stuff, and like off the Senate floor, he was really friendly to everybody, and like there were a bunch of Democrats that really liked Lindsey. Like he seemed to be very friendly, but like when he got in front of a camera, like he went into like it's showtime, and like a different Lindsey popped out. These from all the accounts I've read.
Yeah, I mean, nothing makes up for his war hawkish.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a quote at the funeral. Lindsey Graham never liked.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I have a clip for you. Let's watch this one.
Known this man. Lindsey, he was often unfairly characterized as a warmonger. I've heard that false criticism a lot. It's not true. The truth was the opposite.
Extremely hawkish. I will tell you, he never saw a war that he didn't like. Only his true friends would understand that, but he wanted it for the good of our country.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
they clearly didn't compare their speeches at all there, but for Hannity to try to be like, oh, people thought he was a warmonger, but he really wasn't. No, we all saw with our own eyes. Like, anyhow.
He never met a war he didn't like.
Yeah.
Trump's telling the truth. That might be the first time Trump's ever told the truth.
I think so. Yeah. Anyhow. And I didn't want to pull clips from a speech or from a funeral to make fun of, because it's a funeral. Like I didn't want to make fun of it. But Trump always makes it about himself, so I knew I was going to have to pull something. So
I'm not mad about it.
No. So anyhow, the last thing I do want to talk about is Trump even really trying to win the midterms? But before we do that, this is just a funny one that popped up late last week.
A U.S. government map of Africa mislabeled every country during a State Department presentation at a global conference in Brazil this week, causing a stir among attendees who took screenshots and posted them online.
They only tried to identify like 6 or 7 countries, and apparently they got everyone wrong. Like, is that incompetence at our State Department, or is that did they use AI? I think most likely they used AI to put together a presentation, and you have to double check the AI, and nobody went back and did it, is what I'm thinking.
I think AI might be more competent than that.
I don't know, but it's funny that Marco Rubio's given a presentation in Brazil, and they pull up a map, and the leaders from all the other countries immediately realize this map is wrong. Marco, and I can't either, but Marco probably can't point out any country in Africa and say what's what. There's probably 3 of them I'd get right if I tried to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Africa that well. I would get more than 3 right, but
yeah. What?
Yeah.
Real quick, what?
They didn't double check their work either. And I'm actually on ChatGPT right now, and I'm just going to tell it to give me a map.
Oh wait, before you do that, before you get a map in front of you, what countries do you think you could locate in Africa? Just off the top of your head.
South Africa.
Okay, that's an easy one.
That's super easy.
Yeah.
Morocco, Sudan.
Sudan, I don't know if I could get.
Nigeria.
Yeah, you're ahead of me. I don't think I could get. I don't think I can tell you which one on a map is Nigeria.
Congo.
Fine. So you're saying you could point out the shape on a map and be like, that one right there is the Congo.
Yeah.
Okay, to me, it's Egypt, Morocco, South Africa, and Somalia. Like those are the only ones I could get right.
I don't know. Where is Somalia? That's on the
It's on the East Coast.
Eastern, yeah. East Coast. Okay. Like right at the little.
Yeah, kind of over by Saudi Arabia and
the Horn?
Red Sea. What's that?
Is that the Horn of Africa?
Nah,
Or is
I
the
don't
Horn
know.
the bottom?
I thought it was the bottom, but here we are talking about something we shouldn't talk about. Sorry, what were you chat GPT-ing over there?
Well, it's working. I told it to give me a map of Africa labeling all the countries.
You would think it would get it right. That seems like if AI can't do that accurately, then I'm really confused as to what we're doing with AI right now. Like that seems simple. So anyhow, so I thought that was funny. Now when it comes to are they even trying to win the midterms? First of all, the thing with Todd Blanche that we talked about, where they're trying to push him through, but not letting him do the actual written, like I promise we won't do the 1776 fund and give President Trump and his family immunity. They won't put that in writing. And he's basically like, if he pulls the nomination and says, I'm going to do it after the midterms, that now makes the AG spot a midterm issue. And do you want the Epstein files released? Because Todd Blanche wouldn't release them. If Republicans win, they're going to confirm Todd Blanche. Like that's a huge thing for the left. Like that's a gift from Donald Trump. Why would he do that? Also, new polling came out, and I don't know if you remember this phrase, but Trump is now at the Bush line.
Oh wow! So President Trump, his approval rating is 32%.
So 32% is the Bush line. When President George W. Bush in 2008 crashed the economy, there was a recession, the Great Recession, I think they called it. The lowest he ever got was 32%. And it's almost unthinkable that anybody would go below 32%. Donald Trump is sitting at the Bush line, according to Quinnipiac. Now, there were 3 polls last week. The highest he was in any of them was 36%. So he's somewhere between 32 and 36%. But terrible polling. If you look at this on immigration, 17 points underwater. That's the one thing he's done right in his term so far is he closed down the border. Like if you had to give him an A+ for one thing, it's he kept his promise and he shut down immigration through the southern border. I'm not a fan of that.
I think immigration ties into how ICE is treating American citizens.
I think so. I think he went too far with ICE.
How ICE is treating people. Let's say that.
Well, and they're locking up American citizens for weeks at a time that have their identification on them. So, but immigration, 17 points underwater. Economy, 30. The fact that a Republican is 32 points underwater in the economy is hysterical. Foreign policy, even. That's Republicans. If you say, Republicans are better with the economy, we know that's a lie, but that's what people say. And foreign policy, they normally get the edge on. He's 32 points underwater. And then Iran, 38 points. Like, wow. So polling has gone terrible for him.
Wild.
Now, there was a lot of polling that drilled down on the economy specifically and how people feel. And you know how Kevin Hassett and what's the other guy, the Secretary of the Treasury? I'm blanking on his name right now. Bissent, thank you. They keep coming out and they're like, oh no, well, spending is way up and this is way up. And we think the economy is doing just great. Well, this reporter flat out cited this polling to him about how people feel about the economy. Listen to this answer.
And of course, when you look at the economy, there are so many different factors, right? And some are certainly looking good, but others aren't. And you say the economy looks amazing. The job growth cooled last month, and 66% of people, these are Americans, everyday Americans, they say President Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions in this country. That's 10% more than in the final months of the Biden administration. So, I mean, you say the economy looks amazing, but what do you say to that person who's part of that group, that 66%, who say Trump has actually made the economic conditions are worse?
I just don't believe a poll like that, given how strong the numbers are and how strong income growth is, how optimistic people are. Like, the best measure of how optimistic people is they consuming? What happens when people are pessimistic is they start doing what we call precautionary saving. They cut back expenditures because they're worried they might lose their job or something bad would happen in the future. When you've got strong consumption growth like we're seeing right now, then consumers are by definition very optimistic. They're not being cautious at all. And so I just don't believe that poll.
It's going to be amazing. Like, at some point, if I go to heaven, I'm going to be able to look down and I'm going to see the entire Trump administration in Mar-a-Lago, and Mar-a-Lago is going to be on fire.
Okay. His answer there was, I don't believe the poll, and B, spending is up. Now, there has been so many studies and charts and graphs to show this, but the top 10% in America is spending like crazy, and the bottom 90% is cut back on spending. But because the upper class is spending so much, overall spending is up. And that's like black and white. You can look at that on charts and graphs. So yeah, the people that are doing well in this country are living a good life and spending like crazy. Anyhow, this is the problem the Biden administration did is people kept saying, "Hey, everyday citizens, hey, I'm hurting. I don't have enough money. My savings accounts are getting lower and lower. I can't make ends meet. I can't afford groceries." And Biden was coming out, or not him, but his administration was coming out and saying, "Oh no, the economy's actually quite well. You don't know what you're talking about. The economy's doing quite well." This is almost worse. Like you would think that they would have learned. That was just 2 years ago that was happening. The Trump administration hasn't learned this. So on top of that, the Q2 GDP came in last week. Did you see what that was?
No, I didn't.
So last Q1 was 2.1%. And if you remember, I've played videos for you where they kept saying, "Oh, well, 2026. Look out, Q1 2026 is when that's when the big beautiful bill takes effect, and that's when things are going to skyrocket." Well, Q1 came in at 2.1%, and it actually has not been revised down yet. I thought for sure it'd get revised down. It hasn't, but 2.1 is low. Trump was talking 5 or 6% GDP growth. Well, Q2 came out last week, 1.5%. So far for the year, we're averaging like 1.7 or 1.8, somewhere in that range for the first 2 quarters. Okay. And
wow,
just to bring it back to your memory, let's hear Howard Nutlick talk about what's going to happen at the beginning of 2026.
Ordinary. Look for the second quarter of 2026 to be amazing as all this money comes back into the economy from this big, beautiful bill, which really takes care of Americans. Finally, the president has the power to take care of Americans. Someone actually in the White House cares about the real people of America.
Mr. Secretary, only a
Look for the second quarter to be outstanding. 1.5% GDP. Cool. And Trump reinstituted a shitload of tariffs last week. Like the Supreme Court bailed him out on tariffs for real. Like he should have just taken the win and been like, "Oh, the Supreme Court said I can't do it." Well, I think he can only do 10 and 15% tariffs, but he put him on like 60 different countries last week. So, including the funniest is he said, I don't think he actually did it, but he said he wants to put the tariffs on Iran too. He wants that to be part of the deal. We do $0 in trade with Iran. We don't trade with Iran. Putting a tariff on, he put a 300% tariff on Iran. It doesn't matter. We don't trade with them. But he brought that up. I think we should be tariffing Iran too. Oh, sure. Yeah. As soon as we start trading with them.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a giant issue with this whole administration. Is they don't know what they're talking about. They're lying. Didn't Nutlick say that there was going to be like a 6.9%? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a 6.9% GDP growth in the second quarter or the third quarter of 2025.
Nutlick and Besant have been saying anywhere from 5 to 7%, depending on what show they're talking on. Now, Trump has said that we could get up to 15% GDP growth. I don't know. I don't think that's physically possible, but he's thrown that out a couple times. But like I'll say this, there are quarters, like every now and then, like it's traditional that like second quarter is not that good. Fourth quarter is really good because of Christmas and all that, people buying gifts. So like there's certain quarters that are better than others. 1.5% for Q2 is lower than expected by far, but like it's not unheard of to have 4 or 4.5% for the fourth quarter for a single quarter. But what he's always talking about is the overall GDP, which is the average of all 4 quarters throughout the year. Right now, the best, I mean, if we had a great third and fourth quarter, which we're in the third quarter right now, tariffs are back on, the Iran war is going, gas prices are high. I don't see how it's going to get better, but realistically, like if he gets up to like a 3% average for the year, he should be thrilled about that. That would mean the economy made a great comeback in the third and fourth quarter.
And it's gross domestic
product. Yeah.
Product. What is it based on? Like the amount of money that big companies are making?
You know, I want to give you an answer, but I also don't want to be wrong. So let's
okay, because where I'm going with this is actually like we covered this like a while back, but it was all these giant tech corporations, all these AI companies are basically just trading money back and forth, so it looks like they're winning, right? So could that 1.5 actually be a negative at this point?
Yeah, they're trading potential sales back and forth.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah. So real quick, GDP is the total money value of all final goods and services made inside a country during a set time. So made, not sold, is the way I read that.
That's weird.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Huh.
the AI bubble is another thing that I'm not going to talk about tonight, but like that's something we should be aware of because that what's happening in Japan right now is a direct correlation to like an AI bubble popping in Japan. I don't know if you've seen their stock market tanked big time. The value of the dollar was going down so much that America late last week bought $5 billion in the is it the yuan? I don't know what their yen. The yen. We bought $5 billion in the yen of a like currency swap is what it's called to try to stabilize the value of their dollar. Donald, by the way, on the airplane tonight on the way back from Bedminster, I didn't pull it, but they asked Donald Trump why we did that, and he said, "Well, you know, Japan's always been a good friend to us. Well, except for Pearl Harbor, but other than that, they've been a good friend." And it's like you. Okay.
So we're bailing another country out.
Yeah, so far we bailed out Argentina, which Argentina's flying under the radar. Their currency has totally collapsed. We bailed them out several times over the past year and a half, and we finally stopped because it's not working, and their currency has totally collapsed. The Javier Milei experiment that all Republicans were pointing at for a couple months, nobody's pointing at now because it's going terribly wrong. Anyhow,
They're bailing out other countries, but they can't give us health care.
Yeah, no, it would cost too much.
They can't get rid of student loans. They can't give us education or health care.
Yeah.
But we can give billions and billions of dollars to another country.
Seems to be the case.
It just makes no fucking sense.
The thing is, when you have a surplus, when you have extra money, then you can afford to do these things for your friends. However,
but you do the things for yourself first.
Well, but we
make
don't
your own country better.
The bottom line is that we don't have a surplus. Like, have you seen what the national debt is now at?
Oh, did it hit?
So if you round, it's hit 40 trillion. It's 39.97 trillion. It'll be 40 in the next week, which interesting because America's winning right now. The economy's hot, right? We've all heard Trump, Bissent, Letnick say this. Check out just the debt we accrued in the month of July. This is only from July 1st to July 28th. 407 billion.
Whoa.
407 billion in 28 days. Okay. If every month we're adding 400 billion to the debt, I would say that the country is not as hot as we think it is.
Increase since July. Oh, 407 just in July. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's just in July. 1 month.
I was reading that. Weird. I was like, okay.
Not even a full month. That's 3 days shy of the full month, but 407 billion in 28 days, 4 weeks.
So that's almost a trillion every 2 months.
Yeah, every 2.5 months it's a trillion. But we're doing great. The economy is firing on all cylinders. We're the hottest country in the world. Other leaders are calling Trump and telling them how hot America is right now. But we're adding 407 trillion a month to the debt. And we're bailing out Japan and Argentina while doing that.
Trump has bankrupted how many businesses? He bankrupted 4 casinos.
I think he's gone bankrupt 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was 4 casinos.
It's just, the house always wins unless Donald Trump owns it, and then it's just not.
Unless you build competing casinos across the street from each other in the same fucking town, you fucking idiot.
I don't know why that wouldn't work. I thought that would have worked. So anyhow, we got that going on. And also Kevin Hassett. I like to pull Kevin Hassett clips because I know he bothers you. But here's him on Fox News real quick, just for the fun of it.
Different. I mean, the bond market is spiking yields, and I'm just wondering if the bond market is telling us something different here. What would be your biggest economic risk if you had to look at one risk for the rest of 2026? Is it inflation? Is it labor shortages? Is it deficits? Is it the Senate not getting the president's agenda across the finish line? What would it be, Kevin, in terms of the biggest risk to continued economic growth from your standpoint?
I think the biggest risk facing the U.S. economy right now is that these socialist/communist Democrats actually have a big victory and can start to have their policies be pursued by local governments and even perhaps the federal government, because they really are looking at kind of a communist takeover of America. And if markets start to think that those people are going to be successful, then there's going to be a lot of pain in markets. And so I think that's the biggest risk right now.
Well, I think this is a great point that you make, frankly. Okay.
Did you catch what he just did there? Because this is fascinating to me. He is setting up an excuse for the rest of this term, because she said, well, what do you think the biggest risk is? And she gave him a couple options. One of them was the Senate didn't implement Trump's agenda, so it's the Senate's fault. She was trying to give him scapegoats other than Trump and his decisions. And he said, well, no. He said, the communists, socialists, whatever they are starting to do better. And if it looks like they might win and take power, then obviously the market won't like that. So if it's, what he said is, if it starts to look like the Democrats, I'm going to say Democrats in general, are going to win the midterms, well, then, yeah, of course the markets will start to do worse because they see that the Democrats are about to win. So for the next, we have 3.5 months till the midterms. If things start to look bad, that's going to be their line. They're floating different trials, and that one is going to work. He said that. Maria Bartiromo said, I agree with that. Trump repeated it like 6 hours later, like, oh, yeah, of course things are looking bad. The Democrats are up in the polls. That's going to be their built-in excuse. It's not the tariffs. It's not the Iran war. It's the fact that it looks like Democrats might win the midterms.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So here, let's play this scenario out. They can say that all the way up until the election, right?
Okay.
But as soon as the election happens, if the stock market goes up because the Democrats won, what can they say about that? They're going to have to find another excuse.
Yeah.
It's always an excuse. Like, so they're switching from Biden to the Democrats winning the midterms.
Yeah. I don't know. And that's the thing is, I think that Donald, even like worst case scenario, let's say the stock market Democrats win, the stock market keeps going up. Donald Trump will say, well, it would be going up a lot more if Republicans were in power. The fact that Democrats are in power is the reason we don't have 15% GDP. It'll be something like that. Yeah. Imagine how good it would be if Republicans controlled it, which Republicans have now controlled it for 1.5 years, and we see what we got out of that. But he's going to say, if only Republicans still had control. Anyhow.
All of this is a direct result of the policies of the Trump administration.
Yes. You start a war in the Middle East and you put tariffs on everybody else and you break all the trade deals you have. What could go wrong? I don't know. The last point real quick that makes me think that they're not trying to win the midterms, or that maybe they're going to steal them. Maybe they don't care because they're going to try to rig it. I don't know. But data centers right now, like the polling is clear on this, left and right. That people do not like the data centers, like at all. The Trump administration is leaning fully in. They're buddy with all the tech bros, Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel and Elon. They're fully behind the data centers. They want them going up. They think they're great for the economy everywhere. Like, they love it. Here's one more clip on data centers real quick.
Because it's local officials, local selectmen and mayors and so on that are negotiating these deals. And they've been negotiating the deals, pretty generously in the sense that they've been happening all over the place because the data centers are very good for towns because they create so many jobs, bring people in with high incomes that could buy houses and stuff like that. And so if you take a sleepy town that hasn't really seen much in the last 20, 30 years and put a data center there, then they're going to be a whole bunch of happy residents of that town.
Yeah.
They don't create that many jobs.
So during the construction phase, from what I understand, construction workers move into the town for the time of construction. But once it's built, it's like, I've heard different things, but I've heard it's like 15 jobs per data center. Like, it's the people that it actually takes to maintain it all the time is very low. And a lot of times it's like specialty people flying in for a week to be at the data center and then flying back out. Like the actual staff that's there on the ground. Now, not far from where I live, there's a town where a data center went in. I think it was a Google data center a couple of years ago, and they bought all the schools, all kinds of stuff, Google Chromebooks and Google, like they bought all this technology for the schools, and they're trying to buy people's approval basically. And from what I understand, it's not working. Like, the people there are like, hey, thanks for all this stuff, but also we're not cool with this data center being here.
Well, it's because the water prices spike. They're sucking dry the water. Everybody I see online talking about like, oh, I live near a data center. They're like, it's a loud hum all day,
Yeah.
every day.
When with this one that's near us, so there's a dam on a lake that is producing electricity, and apparently it's producing way more electricity than anybody in that part of the state needs. So the selling point, I don't know if it's true or not, but the selling point was there was extra electricity that wasn't being used. So that's the perfect place to put a data center because they were already cranking out all this electric that wasn't needed. Put the data center. Maybe that's true. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just telling you what the other side of the argument is. But like the water consumption, the electricity, the fact that water prices and electricity go up in general, that's a problem. Trump said at one point that every new data center was going to have its own power plant, and they were going to make power for the data center and then also sell power to the grid for everybody. I'm not against that. Are we doing that? He said it a couple times, but I don't think that's been put into practice anywhere yet.
Yeah, I mean, he says a lot of things.
Yeah, it sounded good when he said it. I don't think it's going to happen. So,
well, I mean, I was just watching something. I wasn't paying too much attention, but it sounds like they're going to be putting data centers everywhere, like in the middle of cities and all. Like they want to like completely put. They want data centers everywhere, basically.
So I don't know how they couldn't put them in the middle of big cities, but like. So right now, Willie Nelson is doing like a social media campaign because wherever he has his farm in Texas, in that area, they're trying to put a data center. And Willie Nelson is all over social media trying to raise awareness to get people to vote no and to call their senator or congressman or whatever. And like he's trying to get it stopped. Again, this is Trump gives the Democrats a hard time because they always end up on the wrong side of 80-20 issues. Like like trans stuff, trans people in female sports, whatever it is. He's like, why are they on the wrong side of this? The data center one is an 80-20 issue, and they're on the wrong side of it. Like, it's the first time Trump normally has a better political instinct. He can, stick his finger in the wind and see what the country wants to do and kind of morph into whatever that is.
With this in his first term.
Yeah.
I think this term, he's only about himself. He doesn't have to get reelected, so he's just like, fuck it. Like I'm just gonna do what benefits me.
You're right, because the Iran war and all none of this is popular, and it's so different than the first term. Because in the first term, he was like I'll be whatever you want me to be. Like, what do you want me to be? And he would do it. And now he's like, no, this is what I'm doing. And I think the polling's fake anyway, so I don't care. Like that's kind of the gist to it.
Yeah, and if you look into everything he's doing, it all benefits him. Every last one of it. I mean, we got into this war for Iran because of the Epstein files.
I would say it's several things. Distraction from the Epstein files, maybe. The fact that a lady named Miriam Adelson gave him $250 million, and it seems like there was a quid pro quo of you're going to get it done with Iran is one of the reasons. A handful of reasons, I'll say.
Yeah, but it just happened to be great timing for him on the Epstein file.
Yeah.
Well, and I heard an audio clip recently, and I don't know if it's real. Like you might know, but it's Trump yelling at his staffers, saying like, "I don't care if the Epstein files come out." These files come out. I'm taking you all down with me. I don't care if we have to go to war. That's fake.
So I never saw that. I would assume that's fake. Now, there was an article that was saying that Trump was yelling about, or he was yelling at his staffers about the Epstein files or whatever, but there was no audio to it.
Okay.
If there's, I'm gonna bet somebody took that article and then used AI to recreate Trump doing that.
Yeah.
So, if there was audio, I'm just gonna say that if there was that audio that you just described, that would be all over the news. I don't think they could hide that one.
That's why I kind of thought it was fake.
Yeah. But there's been reporting that says that he was saying, I never saw anything that said he was saying, I'm going to take everybody down with me. I never saw that, but he was yelling at them about the Epstein
It's an
files.
AI generated fake. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. So anyhow, because of the economy, because of the data centers, because he put the tariffs back on, the Iran war, like he doesn't seem to want to win the midterms. And like, I would have thought by now, Republicans in the House and the Senate would be coming out forcefully against what he's doing because they want to get reelected, but they're all too afraid of him to do that. So they're all just either they're avoiding the cameras or they're trying to defend what he's doing. But he's on the wrong side of all the things that are going to matter in these midterms is the economy. They call them the kitchen table issues, the economy, the gas prices. Like he doesn't seem to care. And maybe maybe he really doesn't give a shit about the House or the Senate. Like in his mind, whatever. Like we can lose it. It doesn't matter. He's still going to keep doing what he does. What they're going to subpoena him? They're going to make him come testify? He ain't going to do it. And if he doesn't show up to testify, then they're going to refer him to Todd Blanche for contempt of Congress. What's Todd Blanche going to do with that? Nothing. So maybe that's the way he's looking at it. I don't know, but I don't think he cares about winning right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, new poll in Texas, Tallarico's up 3 points right now. I still think it's going to be hard for Tallarico to win, but the fact that he's up at this stage of the game is amazing. So,
yeah, what do we have? Less than 100 days before?
It's like 3.5 months. Yeah, probably right at about 100 days. See, all of August, all of September, all of October. Yeah, I'm going to say 100 days, somewhere in that range. So, anyhow, the last thing I have, and this has been a recurring theme for us, talking about the International Criminal Court. I just wanted to play this clip because this is a full court press. If you remember where we left off, Marco Rubio and a couple other people are bitching about the ICC and trying to get it to go away. We got Venezuela, who we're controlling, to officially leave that treaty for the International Court. And apparently we're trying to get all the other Latin American countries to leave it. Clip from Fox News. They're on board with this. They're going to try to help Trump out with this. So
vile this international court is.
But it scares me in this sense for you. You travel internationally.
Yep.
God forbid you had a medical emergency and you need to land. And you're about to land in a country that recognizes the ICC. It could complicate things. Do you worry about that?
Yeah, I think about it. We have that's why we have special forces around. I served with them for 5 years.
No, the IDF is pretty tough. They have a very tough
let's give them a new task. Yeah, of course. It's the corruption of the international system. It's an unelected bureaucracy that sits in The Hague that could arrest American soldiers because you don't recognize this corrupt body any more than we do. And they could say that the President of the United States is a war criminal, that American soldiers valiantly fighting next to us, shoulder to shoulder against the tyranny in Tehran, that they're war criminals. They could pick them up.
The 45,000.
Okay.
Did he go to New York?
He did, and they asked Mamdani, are you going to arrest him, like he said? And he said he was reviewing that with the legal, and then Mamdani did have to come out and say, hey, I can't. And apparently part of the deal is having the UN be headquartered in New York. Like, we promise every head of state that they can come and go to UN meetings, and we basically won't pick them up on other charges. So Mamdani did have to come out and say, yeah. He said he wants to, but he can't. He said legally, he said he checked with all the legal people, and they really just can't. But
I really was hoping that would happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it didn't happen. But here's a simple idea. Don't do war crimes. Like, if you're afraid that our American soldiers or president is going to get picked up by the ICC for war crimes, don't do war crimes. If you don't do it, you don't have to worry about it. Like, that's the simple answer for this.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't care. They're just going to do it and say they're not doing it.
Yeah, and they want to be able to not be held accountable. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, that's all I got on that. I'm gonna keep that in the spotlight for a little bit. So, I've got nothing else for you. You got anything else for me tonight?
No. I mean, I've been watching on Instagram this one guy from Germany. Here he is. His name is the.Andy. Oh, the.Andre Andrey.x.
Okay.
He's a young kid from Germany. He's over in Israel right now, and he is like getting into the shit. And he's doing all these shorts. He's definitely worth a follow. If you
okay,
I didn't want to pull anything because it's like a lot of it's really rough, but it covers like the settlers and like the IDF like closing down towns and not letting ambulances in.
Gotcha.
He was the other day he was talking about how women were lining up at the gates where they closed the town down and giving birth right there in front of the IDF soldiers yeah, he's doing a really good job of covering this.
I'll check it out. The thing is, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't know a lot of the stuff that's going on with the settler stuff because the news isn't covering it all. But also be wary. Social media, whether it reels or whatever, like a lot of AI, a lot of fake stuff on there, stuff that is wrong, not accurate. So, but I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty positive. I have a pretty good eye for AI. I'm pretty positive that this is.
Okay. You also thought the Donald Trump audio just a minute ago was possibly real.
Yeah, well, I told you that I thought it
Yeah.
might be.
Gotcha. So, I'll check that out. And until next time, you have a good night, sir. Happy Sunday night to you.
Peace. Like, subscribe, support your local businesses.
Love it. Later.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.